We are working with the United States Embassy to bring you this dialogue, which today is going to talk about the youth, or the youths are going to talk. We are going to listen to the youths talking.
I'd like to thank Alpha Media Holdings and The Independent for inviting us here today to co-sponsor this important youth dialogue. And I'd like to point out, it just happenstance that today also happens to be the Day of the African Child. Through this outreach to young African leaders, we're trying to emphasize the Obama administration's priority of mutual responsibility as the foundation of the U.S.-Africa partnership. We believe it's only through debate and brainstorming that together we can find ways to bring about positive change.
The topic for today is the youth empowerment, looking beyond political rhetoric. Please share with us what you expect in terms of your empowerment.
We need youth to be innovators, celebrate the innovation of young people. A couple of years ago, I was at NAST, and they have what they call a techno park. Okay, what techno park is supposed to do is to bring in all these inventions and things that are relevant to business. But to this day, techno park is not celebrated. Ladies and gentlemen, we live in a society that would rather give $300,000 to a young man for staying in a house for 2 or 3 months than give money to inventors. What are we saying? You see, we need to redefine the way that we see our society and what we invest in.
That a case in point is a student in NAS who developed a BP machine. And that BP machine is still there, and they're still trying to find partners so that it can be patented and also mass-produced. But here in our country, there is no one who's willing to invest in that.
Let me give you another example, one that is a little bit close to my heart. When I was born, many members of my parents' and grandparents' generation took one look at me and assumed that my mother must have been cursed, that I was disabled because of witchcraft. They never studied science and knew nothing about genetics, so they could not move beyond what they had been taught. If we never considered the possibilities that that disabled child who never learned to read or write might have found a cure for cancer or discovered a new source of energy. Stephen Hawking, the world's most famous physicist and mathematician, is not only in a wheelchair but also speaks by using a computer because of his disability.
Business is down. Industry is not working. There is a huge opportunity, particularly for young people, to come in, solve business, and actually make something of this economy. We need young engineers, scientists to come in, redefine work systems, redefine machinery, what we're using, and then we make the cost of production come down, and business is profitable. Simple and clear. Nothing more, no politics in it.
What I believe is that what we face is not a problem, and this is where my departure is. It's not a problem of personalities, right? It's not a problem of who is at the top. That's part of the problem, but that's not the problem. The problem is that we are faced with systems such that whoever is at the top, you're not getting results. So what we need to be doing is to be looking at the system and saying, what are we supposed to be changing about that system?
One other thing I would add is that relationships should also change. So I would encourage that. I also hope that within that perspective, we change the U.S.-Zimbabwean relationship. And it's something that the U.S. Embassy is working very hard to do. As the ambassador alluded to, the business conference. That is definitely about changing relationships, bringing American businesses here and South African businesses to say, how can we build on this foundation? And even though the market might be weak, it might be small at the moment, there's great potential. So let's build the relationships that will then lead to something much bigger than what is there today.